All right, I got the recording started. So I am so excited tonight to welcome two incredible women to this call. Stacie Meyer and Heather Martin are going to be sharing their stories. They are executives on our team, and I am excited to hear what they have to say. So, Stacie, would you be up for sharing first this evening?
Sure, I'm ready to go.
Awesome. So, welcome. Tell us about you. Tell us your story.
Sure. I am a CPA by trade, and my husband and I own our own business and have for about 7 years. Are just kind of busy parents, as much as I love that word. And actually celebrating our 8th wedding anniversary tonight. So happy anniversary as I kicked my husband out of the house. But we're going to go to dinner after this. So I'm on the West Coast, so that's okay. I was introduced to Isagenix last fall, and I was suffering pretty bad from postpartum depression with my second, and she was over 2 years old, and I still just hadn't gotten back into that groove of working mom, wife, sister, friend. I couldn't find the balance, and I was really feeling like I was failing at all levels there. And sorry if I get emotional. I'm an emotional person. So it was, I was just struggling. I was holding on to the extra baby weight. No matter what I was doing, just really didn't seem to be working. My friend Jill Johnson started posting about this cleanse she was doing, and I was like, oh, all these people are doing these juice cleanses and that. And so I kind of looked at it and I read it, and it was like, I've never done a cleanse and I'm trying this. And I'm like, well, Jill's, okay, let me look. And so I pinged her about it in September and was like, tell me about this cleanse you're doing. Maybe it's what I need. And so she sent me, a bunch of information, and it sat there. And it sat there for a month until she reached out to me again and said, hey, there's this, information happy hour that we're having. Would love to have you on it. And, would you be available tonight to kind of log on? And I was like, sure, I'll look into it. But, kind of, I was open-minded, but not, if that makes any sense. And so I popped on and I listened, and I won a $25 gift card. So I was so excited that, I was contributing and answering, and it kind of was a cool little thing. And I got off the happy hour that night, and Jill and I chatted a little bit, and I kind of was like, I don't know if I'm ready to invest in it, so let me check with my husband and I'll get back to you. And anyone who knows me knows I don't check with my husband about anything. And now there's hidden shakes in closets, because when there's mocha and peach mango, I've got to stock up for later. So it was kind of my fib to her, because I didn't want to just be like, I'm all in. And so I didn't sleep that night, and I think I emailed her as soon as I'd gotten the kids off to preschool the next day, and was like, tell me what I need to do. I'm ready to kind of jump in. So I jumped in, and my box came the next week, and I, going back to that whole type A accountant thing, I read everything. I mapped out my 30 days. I took my measurements. I did everything that the box told me to do, and started the program. And it was a Tuesday. And by Friday, I felt like I was already starting to get a little bit of myself back, which I was pretty cautiously optimistic. I would say that it was doing something, because I was like, is it really doing something, or do I want it to do something? And so that was kind of where I was. And by day 9, my husband was saying things that, you're acting different. You're not coming home and napping. When I call you during the middle of the day, you're not taking a nap between clients, and things that I was doing. And I was reaching out to friends again, and I was doing things that kind of in that postpartum fog I hadn't been doing. So I started sharing. And the backstory too is Jill had originally told me that there was this whole sales side, and I'm like, nope, not doing network marketing, not into it. I don't need free shakes, I think were my exact words. So sorry about that, Jill. I I was 9 days in, I think, when I started sharing, and maybe 12 days when I hit consultant. So basically at that point, I couldn't keep my mouth shut because there was this spark back in me that really had been gone for a couple of years. And as much as I tried to push through life and things that were happening, I didn't have control of it. And all of a sudden I had control because I was fueling my body. It was the month of November. I completed my 30-day. I lost 12 pounds and I was on fire. Kate Gailey had reached out to me and invited me to New Year's kickoff and said she'd gift me a ticket if I wanted to go. And I kind of told her, well, if I can earn enough to pay for my hotel and airfare, I'll jump on it. But I didn't really think that that was possible. And I wasn't dreaming big enough at that point. And November 30th rolled around and I earned enough to pay for that ticket and hotel room. So I had to put it to paper, and I booked my ticket that day and ended up, making it through the holidays. I didn't lose any more weight during the holidays, but I stayed healthy and I stayed pretty committed to my goals. And I got to NYKO in January, and when people say that events really change things for people, again, it changed everything. I got to meet people that were just Facebook friends or that I saw, and I got to meet these people in real person and have the real connection with them. And that was just amazing. And I was able to link arms with Jill Johnson and Jamie Couch when we were there, and we were all new consultants. One of us Jill might have been a crystal manager at that point. I mean, we were new into this, and we sat there and we were dreaming big together, and we were thinking about the possibilities, and we were listening to these speakers. And I was just so energized by the company that I was able to link with, and just am consistently amazed by that. So my funny side note about NYKO, and for people who know me, I'm an oversharer, and I am not always politically correct here, but we were sitting there, and when we got home from NYKO, we started a Marco Polo thread, and I named it Stage Music Goals, because that was kind of the dream, was that, when are the three of us going to be able to be walking across that stage, being an ISA millionaire or having those big dreams. And so it's really fun to kind of think about that, and you have friends that you're able to link arms as business partners with, and have a community that supports you and the women and the men that it's not a competitive environment at all. And it's just, it's been really, really fun there. So that's kind of my Isagenix story. And then it was my run to executive, I guess, was pretty much mapped out for me at New Year's kickoff. We got there, and we had the 90-day game plan. And that's the coolest thing about Isagenix, is they give you all the tools that you needed. And so when we got back, I plugged into a group that Laura Stevens had set up for rock stars who wanted to be business builders. And it was basically, if you do this, like, we'll let's get you to executive. Let's set your goals and see what you can do. And so when Laura said read a book, I read a book. When Laura said make a list of 100 people and contact them, I made the list. When she said go belly to belly and meet 3 new people this week, I went and did it. And I consistently was there. And it was one of those things with, I guess that's the type A person in me, is when there's a path and there's rules to follow, I'm going to do it. And if there's a goal out there, I'm going to set myself up to attain it. And so it was really fun. And not to say that the path was easy as we were doing this. And there was a lot of doubt that was put into me. And I remember Kate and I having a conversation about blinders, and her basically saying, put your blinders up and you go for your goal. She's like, your why, and you are doing this for that. And it's really helped me with my business, which was never something I had to do in our accounting business, because it was there and I didn't have to push people. Like, it came naturally. And this has really been something that's kind of shuffled me out of my shell and forced me to kind of go out and do that. So I ran and hit director at the end of March, and was basically, well, if I'm going now. And I set the goal that I was going to hit executive by April 30th, which would have been my 6-month mark with Isagenix. And so I knew I had the crystal reset to fall back on, but I really wanted to hit it in that the goal was 6 months, and I was going to hit it in what my 6 months was. And so I did that, and we ran, and again linked arms with Jill and Jamie, and we all kind of had different goals that week. And it's such a blur that I don't even remember what everyone else was running for, because I was so laser focused on exec at that point. And so as I was finally looking at the calendar, I realized that we had a vacation kind of planned that weekend, and my husband and I were supposed to be on a trip, and I knew that he'd probably murder me if I brought Isagenix with me at that point, because I had just done my director run a couple weeks earlier. And so he was seeing the vision, but wasn't quite 100% on board with probably me bringing it on vacation with us. So instead of kind of dropping my goal, I just bumped it up and decided that I'd hit Crystal Executive by Friday before we left town. And I was blessed enough that it kind of all fell into place, and the right pieces were moved. And, I had, support of my family, that, my parents were able to help take kids more when I was, kind of pushing for this, and my husband supported me on it too. So that was kind of it. And I ended up hitting exec about 9 a.m. that Friday morning. So it was pretty awesome. And I did a crazy little celebration dance in my backyard, and then didn't look at Isagenix till Sunday night. I gave myself a 48-hour kind of window, but it was pretty awesome. So with that, I've been a business owner already, but this is just a whole new thing. And the business that I run now, I was working every day and was constantly on call, and kind of a slave to accounting and tax deadlines and that. And this opportunity has given me the ability to cut back there and kind of develop we call it We Day Wednesday, where I don't take my kids anywhere. They don't have to go to Grammy and Papa's. They don't go to school. I just get to spend the entire day with the kids, and Isagenix has allowed me that. And so looking forward to a few more We Days in the future. Not sure I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, but trying to find my balance of full-time family with a little bit of working mom too, because I'm a better mom when I'm a busy mom. So that's kind of my story and where I've been. And I think I'm supposed to give two tips of kind of where I found my success. And I guess my first one would be to stay consistent and stay positive with your posts and your interactions, because people are watching, and you might not be attracting the right people if you're not sharing authentically and really connecting from your heart. And I think that the harder I pushed with my goals, sometimes I pushed people away because what my goals were maybe weren't in line with theirs. And so finding that balance of helping people really was key for me. And then the second side of that is that enrolling new people just ignites me, because it gives me a new spark and a new passion. And so I now am finding that when I haven't been in Isagenix for a long time, but I do find that if there's a few weeks that I go without, enrolling new people or getting new blood into the business, that I'm really like starting on that 30-day trek and like constantly in contact with them, that's it's a downer for me. And so I really enjoy that initial getting people excited and getting them feeling great, because I think people don't even realize that when they get that box, how great they're going to feel so soon. And that inspires me. And I have 3 people getting boxes tomorrow, and I think I'm more excited than they are, because I know how great they're going to feel by Monday. And so I'm just kind of bouncing off the walls, like, tell me when your box gets here. Like, I can't wait. So I guess that's my story, and that's where I am. And I don't know if you want me to say anything else. I'm a rambler.
No, that was so awesome, Stacie. It was so good to hear, one, that you were so coachable. I love that you're like, I did it when I gave a suggestion and it's paid off in your consistency. And I like that you were real too about that you had to kind of find a way to reach your goals without pushing people away, and that you're so excited to help people start. I mean, all of that is so authentic, and you can tell how much you care, and that obviously is showing as you just reached a new goal in your business, didn't you?
I did. I just hit 1 star.
Congratulations, love. That's so exciting. So you keep going. You're doing so many incredible things. It's so fun to hear how this started for you, and I can't wait to celebrate with you at Celebration soon. So thank you for sharing.
Okay, thank you, Laura.
You bet. Now I get to welcome my friend Miss Heather to the call. Heather was somebody that I actually met when we lived in San Diego, and we were in MOPS together. So Heather, are you there? Oh, you might be muted. You might need to unmute yourself.
Okay. It says that I'm Carrie. Sorry.
Oh, you're Carrie. Okay, that's okay. So welcome, Heather. I'm so excited. Please share your story with us.
Okay. Yay. Well, thank you. Excited to be on the call tonight with everyone. So my name is Heather Martin. I live in Columbus, Georgia. We are a military family. My husband is a active duty Marine. He's currently deployed to Iraq right now. We have 3 beautiful children. I have our baby boy Jackson is 10 months old. We have 2 little girls. I have a 2-year-old Grace and a 5-year-old, almost 6, Caroline. She has me add that in because she's going to be 6 next month. But I was introduced to Isagenix probably about a little over 3 years ago. Like Laura said, I had the opportunity to meet her and become friends with her when our husbands were stationed at Camp Pendleton in Oceanside, California, and we were in the same MOPS group, and we were also in several of the same spouses groups on base, and I was just immediately attracted to her positive energy and just caring nature and always wanting to get people together. And so I was just super excited to have a new friend. And I will never forget when she started talking to me about Isagenix, that she was going to start this new cleanse, and she asked if I might be interested, and I said no. At that point, my husband and I had done several rounds of Whole30. We were paleo eaters. We worked out 5 to 6 days a week. And also, to be fair, I was incredibly uninformed about Isagenix. I probably did not look, if she sent me information, I didn't look it over, and I didn't do any research. And back then and now, especially now, I was so inundated with all of my friends doing these different companies and shakes and nutrition. And so I just really thought Isagenix was more of the same. So I said no, but I watched her. I watched her very intently over the next 18-ish months. And I was really curious to see how it was going to go. And I will say that Laura did such an amazing job with me, and something that I've really tried to do in my own business is, one, every time I saw her at any event, we saw each other at birthday parties and spouse events and barbecues and things like that. And, she would have get-togethers at her house and invite me over. And she did such an amazing job of planting seeds and always confidently talking about her business and what she was doing and how great she was feeling, and what trip they were able to go on with Isagenix, or where she was going with her team, or some great event they'd just gotten back from. It was never a recruiting, you need to do this with me, or you should do what I do. Never awkward, just very confident in what she was doing. And I'm also during this time watching her on social media, and she was just showing this amazing, she felt great. She was talking about this energy she had, and, going to all these fun events and this community that she was creating. And so I watched, and, simultaneously as this is happening, as I am watching her and still saying no, I was actually a part of a different network marketing company. And I was working really hard. I was gone on nights and weekends constantly because this network marketing company was really more about home-based parties and spending a ton of money on inventory, constantly having to buy new inventory, constantly having to recreate, every month we zeroed out. So working really hard and not making, it was never consistent. The money that I was making. And it was never anything that was necessarily going to change our financial blueprint. And as I was watching Laura and now a lot of my good girlfriends who had jumped in with her, build these incredible teams and make this money, like I was really blown away and had no idea how they were doing that, because there was truly no way that you could do what they were doing in that amount of time with the company that I was with. There just wasn't any way. So I think one of the big things, Laura did such an amazing job of just being very consistent and being very intentional, every time we were around to talk about her business and talk about how much fun she was having and how great it was. And that was so smart because people's life situations change. And my life changed very dramatically, or drastically, I should say. About 2 years ago, we had just had our second daughter, Grace. And about 3 weeks after Grace was born, we made a crazy cross-country move from San Diego to Columbus, Georgia. And here we are, we're in a new town. My husband's starting a new job where he's gone all the time. We're adjusting to being a family of 4. I'm hormonal. It is like July in Georgia. And if anybody's been through a Georgia summer, it's like hot as Hades and humid, and I'm uncomfortable and I just don't feel good. I'm tired. My kids are sleeping. I'm still tired. I'm drinking like 10 cups of coffee every morning. I just don't feel good. And the thought of working out 4 to 5 days a week or meal prepping makes me want to dry heave. Like, I don't have the time for it. I can't do it. My life has changed. And so I knew I needed a change. And so I reached out to the person who's been most consistent. I mean, there was really, I don't know anybody that's doing anything almost 2 years later and is still loving it. And Laura's, it's working. I mean, all you had to do is watch her on social media and this is legit and it's working. I did do some research because I was nursing at the time. And so I really wanted to ensure that the nutrition was going to be good for me and good for my baby. And I was just so impressed with everything that I read. And then all my girlfriends who had done it, I mean, everybody's raving about it, right? So I thought, it's my turn. I reached out to her. I ordered my first box, was still a little hesitant and skeptical. I asked my husband if he wanted to do it with me, and he told me no, like flat out. He was making his own smoothies in the morning with, the chia seeds and the almond butter and like all this stuff. He said no, he was going to keep doing what he was doing. So I got my box, and like everybody talks about, 5 days later, I felt amazing. And as a nursing mom who was just like on the verge every day of just trying to make it through the day, to wake up in the morning and have energy, to not feel like I had to lay down when my kids were napping, or as soon as I got all my kids down, that I was just laying down on the floor. I mean, it was a feeling unlike anything, I'd felt before. And I fell in love with the ease of it and how simply, it kind of fit into our lifestyle. And so about 7 days later, my husband joined me because my shakes were better than his shakes and he loved it. And then a couple of days after that, my sister-in-law joined me as well because she's awesome and she's such a supporter, and anything that's going to add convenience, she was super excited about. So she jumped in with me as well. So now I'm a consultant, and I knew that there was a huge opportunity with Isagenix. I'd watched Laura and I'd watched all my friends. And so I was eager to learn more, and I talked with Laura a little bit about it, and I'm like, yeah, sure, I'm in, let's do this. Let's do business. And so I got to manager, and then I stayed at manager for almost a year because I spent that next 9 to 12 months letting all the doubt and all the fear and all the what ifs cloud everything that I was doing. I was so concerned about what people were going to think about me and if I could do it. And I'd already done one network marketing company. How were people going to see that this was any different? And I just, we are so blessed on Team Anchor to have this amazing group of leaders who are so transparent and will share everything, how they've done it, what you need to do. Like Stacie, I love how you talked about, if somebody told you to do something, you did it. Because I was the opposite. Laura was telling me to do things and I'm like, I'm going to do it. And I didn't do it. And it showed in my business. Like it was very apparent that I wasn't putting the work in because my business didn't go anywhere. I'd enroll somebody and they'd fall off and you enroll somebody else. So it just was, it wasn't really happening for me. But it all changed when we found out that we were pregnant with my third baby, Jackson. We found out we were pregnant in February of last year. And my why got very real very quickly. And I have always believed in network marketing. The dream has always been for me to find something that I'm passionate about and that to be a, financial provider for my family and to be able to do it all while I could stay home with my kids. And I believed in it. I just hadn't found the right vehicle. Like my former network marketing company wasn't the right vehicle for me, just wasn't. And I was hopeful about Isagenix, but I just, again, let all those doubts and everything cloud I wasn't very tied to my why. And so when we found out we were pregnant with Jackson, I had some very serious conversations with my husband and prayed a lot about the fact that, he's in the military. Anybody who has a military spouse or a family member, we know those salaries don't change drastically. There are no big promotions or bonuses. And as a family, we carried a lot of debt around that wasn't going anywhere. We could never get out from underneath it. We wanted to buy a home. We couldn't. We were not able to set aside the money. We wanted to put more in our kids' college funds. We couldn't. So Sam and I knew that in order to make a change, I was going to have to either go back to work or really, dig deep and put the work in and see if Isagenix could be that solution for our family. And I knew it could be, but I knew it all started with me. So thankful that Laura never gave up on me. And she actually called me a couple weeks after that and said, all right, it's your time. You're getting to executive. It's happening. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. It is. It's my time. I was ready. And so I started the week as a manager. And so that was Monday. And by Sunday at 11:49 p.m., I was an executive. So I don't necessarily recommend anybody run to executive in a week, but it can happen, manager to executive in a week. And since then, I've really gone to work developing myself, putting the work in, putting the time in that it takes to grow a business with this company and this organization. And I am so confident that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. All this has happened a little over a year ago, and my life has changed so much in the last year. Just the amazing team that I'm surrounded by. I believe I have the best team out there. The friendships that I've created, the people that I get to call, teammates and friends now. We travel together and we strategize together and we go to events together, and it's awesome. But they're also the family and the community that I have longed for a really, really long time and just never knew was out there. I will never forget, my husband came to Celebration last year, and it was such a blessing. We actually were gifted a trip by Laura, and Sam came, and it all changed. We stayed up one night. It's like the best conversation we've ever had as a couple, and we dreamed so big, and he was all in. Like, I've never seen my husband as a, I don't know. I love him. He's all man though. Like, there's not a whole lot of emotion happening. And after seeing Celebration and seeing these people get up on stage and tell their stories and how their lives have changed, we knew we're doing this. And so it's been an incredible journey. And now my team is doing amazing. We go to events, we dream together, we're doing this together. And now I'm incredibly excited about, I think everybody has a heart to share with somebody. I am so excited to link arms with other moms, other women, because I feel like we let everything come to the forefront. as moms and as women, kids come first, everybody comes first. And, once they're all happy, then we can find something. And I think being able to show women, you really can have it all. You can have this amazing career. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be a great mom. You can be a great wife. I mean, it's such an amazing platform. And I love getting it. I mean, I love sharing with everybody, but I love linking arms with other moms and showing them that, they can have it all. So, we've been so blessed that way. And financially, that was my dream when I started, is that I wanted to be able to stay home and be a provider for my family. And now I am so incredibly blessed and thankful to say that I stay home with my 3 babies every day, and I make an amazing full-time income. And, one of our biggest things when we started out was debt, and it's been so crippling for our family, and it's been so hard to get out from underneath. And, I think it's so important to share specifics, because I think it shows transparency in what this opportunity's allowed us to do. And when my husband left for deployment, we had a huge credit card that was sitting at, somewhere over, like $17,000. I mean, it's accumulated over time, and we've just not been able to do anything with it. And, I looked at our statement, and next month, I mean, you're going to see a huge live video, because next I'm like $1,000 away from paying it off. It's such a huge win for our family. And now we're able to put more towards college funds and buying a home. And it's just so exciting. So it's been an amazing year. And so I know I'm up on my time. So my 2 tips, I would say, one, is just to constantly be networking and constantly be adding people to if it's your pipeline, if it's your sphere of influence, whatever that looks like. I know when I find myself either, like Stacie said, not getting those enrollments, or I'm like going back to the same people over and over again and being that like icky person that's like, are you ready now? It's been 2 weeks. Are you ready now? Are you ready today? I realize it's because I just am not having enough conversation. So we did a great 20 enrollments with a couple other teams, and we spent 2 weeks finding as many networking opportunities as we could. And I realized how I really need to be doing that every day. I love Facebook events because it shows local events in your area. I love just any sort of fun meetups to go to. So constantly be networking and adding those people every day, every week. And then 2, just being very knowledgeable about where your business is and what needs to happen for you to get to that next step. If it's an enrollment, if it's a rank advancement or a cycle bonus, but what you need to be doing to get to your goals. I think I've coached a couple of my teammates, and I talked to them, and I'm like, okay, where are we gonna, what's your next goal? And they're like, executive. I'm like, how are you gonna get there? And they're like, I don't know, but it's gonna happen. And so really knowing, knowing your business, knowing your back office, knowing when those high cycle weeks are. If you need to rank advanced consultants, are you doing a fun race to consultant week with your team? Are you reaching out? Because life is definitely going to happen. And there's so many reasons for us to not be engaged in our business. But, I hit 2-star a week after Jackson was born. I hit 3-star the month after my husband deployed. So these were all great times for me to be like, boop, I'm good. I got to take a step back. But when you have those windows in your business, it's so important that you just go for it, because it really does make a huge difference. All right. That's it. No more.
I love it. No, Heather, I want you to keep talking. We'll have to do another call. That was so great. And what you guys need to understand is that within literally the span of a year, Heather is already semi-qualifying for a Top Achievers event through Isagenix, is in the top 20 in Team Anchored, and obviously, like she just said, is $1,000 away from her massive credit card debt payoff, which I remember the feeling we had the debt too, and it was so frustrating, and it was so fun to pay off, so I'm so excited for you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And she's also a great example for those of you that probably are thunking your head all the time thinking, why are people joining that company? What is happening? Wanting your other friends and people to join Isagenix. Just the best thing you could ever do is be an example to them and keep moving forward and keep finding your success and stay friends with them. Love on them and don't cut them out, but just allow your everything that you've done and that you're doing in Isagenix to just shine upon them with the hopes they'll end up joining you. So thank you so much, Heather. I appreciate you sharing. And thank you again, Stacie. Congratulations on your rank advancement. Thank you all for joining us tonight. And this recording will be available for you guys to use for future. If you know anyone that can be blessed by this call, we'll hopefully get all the recordings up by next week. So take care, you guys. We'll see you at the next call on Thursday night. Thank you so much.
You.